Welcome back, YouTubers, to yet another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Ka-ching.
Consisting of me, Ron Burgundy, and this guy sitting next to me is none other than... N to the J, it's NJ.
What's up?
And what does NJ stand for, NJ? It doesn't matter what NJ stands for, NJ! As we think, how many times can I say NJ in this Q&A, NJ?
NJ.
NJ. If you have any questions you want to ask us, please put them down in that comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
You can open your eyes now, NJ. Whoa, see, I am magic. We go into our first question from Jack Johnson, which is a bit of magic for this Q&A. What are some of your favourite bands and songs? Well, you know my favourite band is Oasis, and my favourite song is obviously their all-time classic, She's Electric.
With me, it'll have to be, I've got quite a few favourite bands, but I love listening to Dishwaller, and it'll be given to Candleburn.
What about me? Green Day, Basket Case is a personal favourite of mine, and Metallica, Enter Sandman, you've got to say that. Any other bands that stand out for you?
I like Bon Jovi, Evanescence, and a bit of Whitesnake.
Nice, Evanescence is pretty hot, but not as hot as Hayley Williams, though. Bow! Deco5757, have you been to Australia? If not, do you want to in the future? Well, me personally, I'm not really much of a traveller, so I have no real intention to go as far as Australia. I really just couldn't handle the plane journey and stuff. And NJ, can you please just stop stripping in the Q&A for God's sake, otherwise viewership will go straight up.
With Australia, I've got quite an attractive friend who lives out that way. As for the country itself, no, I've no interest. Joking. I would like to go, yes.
I will go to Australia if you let us win the Ashes. If I had a very attractive female friend in Australia, I'd be straight there. I wouldn't care how long it would take. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? The British Fist. Do you guys like that you have a queen? It doesn't really bother us, really, does it? Does it bother you that we have a queen?
I prefer having a king.
What, just because we're guys and we think kings are more dominant?
Yeah.
I don't mind having the queen. It gives me a chance to do my queen voice like that. Yes, I live in Buckingham Palace. Yes. What does that remind you of, MJ?
People that should not be named.
Yeah. What, the T to the E to the A to the T to the I to the M to the E to the G to the U to the Y to the S. Fucking hell, I did that. Do you know what? I did a lot better than CM Punk doing the alphabet backwards when he missed out. Was it Q or something? I don't know. JP Payne. If you could pick 7 wrestlers to be in the main event, WWE title, 7 in the mid-card, USIC title, and 7 in the lower card, anyone else in your company, who would it be?
Got 2 already.
So 7 wrestlers in the main event.
Oh, I was to say from the mid-card to the main. Is that what we're allowed to do?
7 wrestlers to be in the main event, 7 to be in the mid-card, and 7 to be in the lower card. So we have a total of 21 wrestlers, 7 in each category.
Okay, we'll do the 7 main eventers together. First, I'll say Wade Barrett.
Yes, Wade Barrett would be a good man. I mean, Roman Reigns, main eventer.
Ryback. Yeah,
Ryback. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Titus O'Neil.
I'd give it next to Damien Sandow.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is another one for me. Although he could very easily be put in the mid-card, I just feel these guys deserve to be in the main event. And one more. Should we put a veteran in there, like a Big Show or John Cena or something, just to give us some name power?
John Cena.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar it is then, even though it'd only be temporary, but it would be our special attraction. 7 in the mid-card. This would be interesting. We haven't mentioned any TNA wrestlers, so I'm going to say Austin Aries.
Justin Gabriel. Come on.
Justin Gabriel. I must admit, I would like to put Bobby Roode in the main event, but he can always work his way from mid-card.
Change Brock Lesnar to Bobby Roode.
Yeah, Bobby Roode would be good, because I totally forgot about TNA. Mid-carders, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose are 2 that I see good mid-carders that could be in the main event.
John Cena. No, he should be there now. He should be there. I'm not.
No. We'll put him in the main. We'll put him in the mid card. It doesn't really matter. We can put some fucking guys over for the first time in his life.
Yeah.
Cesaro is another one.
And if I say one more, I would like it to be.
Who's that?
No, I was trying to think of someone.
Don't worry about it. 7 in the lower card. Now, this is where I would have put like a Justin Gabriel or something and make it into like a cruiserweight division kind of thing. El Torito, Evan Bourne, Sin Cara,
Heath Slater,
Rey
Rey Mysterio,
Mysterio,
Sin Cara,
Hornswoggle,
And Vince McMahon.
And Vince McMahon. Fuck it, we'll just have our own little anyone else division.
Yeah.
Declan Moody. Should people stop booing John Cena? Do you believe it would send much more of an effective message to create and people just stop reacting? Yes. If you stop reacting, they would have to de-push John Cena. So booing, even though they may think it's getting their message out, they don't like John Cena, that thing is at the end of the day, it's getting a reaction for John Cena. So imagine if John Cena entered the arena to cricket. Do you think if that happened for this last 5-6 years when we've been booing John Cena that he'll still be at the top? No.
As much as I would love to hear no reaction when he's meant to gain reaction, I just think it's great when he's in the ring with someone that's much more better than him, or maybe at his level or beneath him. But I love hearing the reaction of him getting booed and the other person getting the cheer. It's pretty
John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks.
Yeah.
John Cena sucks. Hey, yo. John Cena I can't rap, for fuck's sake. I'm white. All right. And also, Declan Moody says he has become one of those guys who people love to hate, and the WWE is profiting from this by selling, for example, We Hate Cena t-shirts. It's very good enough, but you didn't buy it from WWE.com, did you? So technically, you're not part of the problem, even though I think you are. Matt Hennessy. Why, NJ? Why do WWE waste talent such as Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel, Ryback, Big E, Dolph Ziggler, etc.? It's probably because, I think the main reason is because, you've got guys like John Cena at the top, of course, guys like Randy Orton. You need to keep them in a main event spot because, their main event is essentially the WWE. So it's quite hard to find areas, especially now there's only one main event title. It's very hard to find areas where you can put these guys in a main event feud, even though that doesn't say that they could be putting these guys in a mid-card feud or a tag team or something. So that is where WWE is wasting this talent, in my opinion. By not really putting them in any meaningful storylines that is going to help their character or their presence in any way.
As much as that is a detailed answer, what I'm going to go with is Tyson Kidd should have never broken his tag team. Justin Gabriel, I'm glad he moved away from Heath Slater, but they devalued him.
Justin Gabriel is now in NXT with Tyson Kidd, and they're forming a tag team. Yeah!
That saved them in a temporary way.
It hasn't saved them at all. It still sucks.
Okay, then that doesn't work. Ryback, I think they failed him because they rushed him to give Punk an opponent at that time, and it failed him. Big E, he's the Intercontinental Champion, but it didn't feel that it worked. Ziggler, I'm upset by.
I'm quite upset by Dolph Ziggler as well. It's not the performer, it's the way they treat them. But going back to Ryback a second, you can kind of blame this on John Cena, really, can't you? Because he got injured. Yeah. That meant he was the only other person to go after CM Punk's title. And then they turned him heel on Cena, who then just buried him pretty much, and he's never been the same since. So Cena, fuck you, Cena. Sir Lord Mark, is it me or is Luke Harper awesome? He's pretty good. He's nowhere near as good as Bray Wyatt. But he's still pretty good. I mean, he's obviously the guy can go in the ring. He's perfected his character, much like Bray Wyatt has. So, I do think he's pretty good. I will say that.
I think, absurdly, I think Luke Harper would have to stay with Eric Rowan, because if one of them branches off, it's more than possible Eric Rowan would be just left as a big guy, but not be as over or as pushed as Luke Harper.
He'd basically end up back in NXT. There's no way him on his own would get a push on the main roster. He just doesn't have the talent. But in that tag team, it works because of his size and beard and lamb mask and everything. He's had epic matches against Cena. Yeah, he has. And his character is great and his moveset is great. The only thing I'll say about Luke Harper is cut it with the hype. I mean, I've been watching Raw lately or SmackDown, but is he still doing those high-flying moves, moves through the ropes and stuff like that? Because if he is, that's not what a heel should be doing.
He does. Yeah, but with the Wyatt family get over as faces, even though they're heels, I don't mind that happening. But if they're portraying as heels, then yeah, cut that out.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? If they're portrayed as heel and they're doing face stuff and they're getting over but as faces, then they're just not doing their jobs correctly. Jersey 12361. Is Roman Reigns in the Breakfast Club? No, because he's yet to win a world title. He's yet to be put over in a proper singles push. Yes, they've been put over by Evolution, but that was with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. There's no way Roman Reigns is in the Breakfast Club. If he, let's say, for example, wins the world title against John Cena or Brock Lesnar or whoever, Randy Orton, whoever, at WrestleMania 31 and wins the Rumble in doing so, then perhaps, but not quite yet, no.
It's like people asking about Daniel Bryan. Just because they're over, winning and finishing multiple shows on top doesn't quite equal Breakfast Club, but I think if the WWE wanted to do it, it would happen in a heartbeat.
He's on the road to being in the Breakfast Club, essentially, isn't he? And eventually, people will start turning on him and hating him and saying he's overrated, and then that's when he'll...
No!
Exactly, and that's when he will be in the Breakfast Club. Robert Hernandez, this is an interesting one. What matches would you like to see at WrestleMania 31? Well...
Undertaker versus Sting. No.
Undertaker versus Sting. Are you having a laugh? Right. I mean, John Cena versus Roman Reigns for the title, perhaps. Maybe the two top baby faces. Maybe you have Roman Reigns win the Rumble. Maybe even Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Something like that.
I'll put Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. I think.
Although I'd like Cena to put over Roman Reigns, as he is the main guy, and use Brock Lesnar for more of an attraction match, personally.
I've sadly lost some of my WrestleMania matches due to one particular wrestler walking out in the company.
Oh, CM Punk.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Punk.
CM Voldemort.
Okay, here's what I'd like to see. It's a miniature one, not like blockbuster WrestleMania, but it's something really big with the tag team division. By WrestleMania, have tag teams that are on TV each week and then put them into a multi-man match.
Maybe even a TLC match. You could have a Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania, which Wade Barrett could win, because we know he's been due a push for quite some time for the world title. Any other marquee matches? I mean, Undertaker, is there much point in him coming back? Don't really think so. Triple H will be in a marquee match. Who would he really be in a... I mean, maybe him and, I don't know, Daniel Bryan. I don't know.
A part of me was thinking they could somehow save Triple H and Roman Reigns. I know it's much further down the line, but somehow make it work to happen at WrestleMania.
I mean, it would be a good match to happen at WrestleMania. I think they'd have to drag it on way too long, personally, and maybe it's better to have it at SummerSlam or Survivor Series and have Roman Reigns, potentially. I mean, he finished second in the Rumble last year, so the next step really is for him to win the Royal Rumble. Bray Wyatt, what about him? What would we do with Bray? Maybe have Bray Wyatt go against Undertaker. Not a bad shout. I know Undertaker, may not come back, but that would be a good feature match, and you've got Undertaker and Bray Wyatt's character would complement each other quite well.
Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, but as for Bray, I'm questioning him as much as I think Taker's finish. I would not feel right to see him at Mania now, but I think Bray does need a Mania match and win.
So help us out, if you will. If you have any matches you'd like to see at WrestleMania 31, put them in the comment section below. WWE and TNA talk. What do you guys think of Seth Rollins' heel turn and joining Evolution? Well, this happened a while ago now. I didn't mind the heel turn necessarily. It's just the fact that they made it look like he joined Evolution when actually he didn't. He joined the Authority. So it was kind of weird how they did that. And, it was a shocking moment. And to be honest, the Shield were never going to get any better than beating Evolution, one of the greatest factions of all time, at 2 shows in a row, pretty much. So they kind of had to separate them, and whether turning Seth on his heel is a good idea or not, we'll see. But Roman Reigns and Ambrose are apparently doing pretty well as babyfaces, as far as I know.
Thing is, it was a debatable big discussion of it was a surprise factor which WWE needs to start bringing back for us, but it was still questionable because Seth Rollins was doing diving moves, coming across with a good fan reaction. It surprised us, but didn't really feel right. Ambrose was more slick talker, crazy guy that could have bit. So at the moment in time, I was like, it's a surprise, but I don't like it. But even now, I still don't think he's the best Triple H pet, or whatever you want to call him.
I agree. But the thing is, right, they're doing something with each of them. Like Roman Reigns is getting somewhat of a push, possibly against Triple H at some point down the line. Seth Rollins has won Money in the Bank. Dean Ambrose is kind of being elevated by being involved with the Authority angle now. So you can say that WWE are continuing to do something with them and not just dropping the ball, which may lead me to believe that wasn't a bad idea, really, even though I did have my doubts when they did it, because you know what WWE are like. Just saying, NJ. Playlist Maker SG. Which feud would you rather see? Roman Reigns versus The Rock, Dean Ambrose versus Roddy Piper, or Seth Rollins versus Jeff Hardy?
Easy for me.
Easy for me as well. Go on.
Reigns versus The Rock.
I'd say Reigns versus The Rock as well. They were number one. They're related, so that would hold the story. I must admit, Dean Ambrose versus Roddy Piper would be, but I think it would have had to have been Piper 15 years ago in order for me to really care about it. Whereas The Rock, I could still care about now as he's still in good shape. So that I totally agree with that. Even though Dean Ambrose and Roddy Piper is a good idea on paper, but just really wouldn't work in my opinion. Seth Rollins Jeff Hardy wouldn't be a bad match either. It's just it would be more of a spot fest more than anything.
The reason I chose The Rock is because The Rock is a guy now. Yes, he came in and faced John Cena. But if he's still got a contract with the WWE, he's a guy who, since his returns back in the WWE, hasn't really put people over in a storyline feud. And if he's going to do it to Roman Reigns, you could bring family into it. You could bring the fact that The Rock's back and Reigns wants to prove himself against a legend. Brilliant. But yes, Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, if they came in, they would put on a quality match. But I think The Rock just has a bit more strength to the storyline.
And Roman Reigns versus Rock would draw much more, in my opinion. If you could make a new NWO containing 1 original member and 4 new members, who would be in it? So 1 original member.
Cockroach.
Scott Hall. You'd have Scott. You'd have Scott Hall.
I really do. I don't like Kevin.
As a manager, I'd probably have Scott Hall. Okay, as a manager, I was going to say Hogan as a manager, but we can go with Scott Hall in this one, even though he's bang out of shape and he's still not fully recovered from his drug addiction yet.
As this is going to be late down the line, a quick person on throwing is Damien Sandow.
Yeah. Okay. So the 4 new members of this NWO, you'd say one of them is Damien Sandow.
Yes, I do want that.
I'd say one of them could be Cesaro. Whether or not that would work or not, I don't know. But I'm just thinking of newer guys. A biggish guy could be Titus O'Neil easily. Even though once again, you could argue whether or not you could really be getting this push. So we've got a couple there, and 12th one you could say like Miz, he can talk a little bit and he can sort of do most of the talking when the manager isn't. I guess. Okay. I don't know. That's just very basic. We could put so many other people in there. We could even put like Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose in there, and other new people like that. But we're just going with a couple. We're trying to combine youth. We're trying to combine size, and we're trying to just get the best out of everyone, really. If Razor Ramon ever made the jump to WCW, do you think he would have become W? Do you think if never made the jump, excuse me, do you think he would have become WWF champion? I don't think so, because I think he had so many personal problems and so many issues with drugs and stuff like that I don't think WWE really trusted him being the top guy. So it's kind of similar to a lot of people, like Mr. Perfect had continuous injury problems, so they could never put the belt on him without thinking he was going to get injured. It's a shame, but that's just business for you.
A part of me thinks after the ladder match, the Intercontinental kind of run, I felt he would have possibly gone into a world title feud, maybe teased to win it. As for winning it, I personally would have liked him to have one run, but I think it would have been more in the main event slot.
Rossi Bossy, if you only have time to watch 2 wrestling shows a week, which ones would you watch? I have ditched SmackDown lately to make time for NXT. Go.
I'm going to stick with the WWE, especially more for me Raw because of the importance behind it. For a second one,
you don't know, do you? Just stick to Raw, mate. That's fine.
Boxing.
I'm only sticking boxing. Are you serious? That's even more of a work than wrestling is. Right, I'm going to just say, come here right now, I don't really want to watch Raw or SmackDown. If I was going to watch 2 shows, I'd watch NXT and perhaps TNA, just because it's something different from WWE. And I think I could tolerate that a lot more than I could WWE. Just watching 1 show a week in that company rather than 2 shows a week. And that's it for another Q&A. I think this is number 162. With us, the British Fist.
Ka-ching!
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this guy here next to me is NJ, of course.
What's up?
And would you like to end this Q&A, NJ?
Thank you very much for watching, people. This has been Myth Park and me and Jay. Thank you very much for watching. Please continue to keep the videos and questions coming in the comments section below. And please tune in for our next Q&A.
Goodbye.